This is one of the toughest conditions that you can have. Had a huge front come through yesterday. It was super windy, not a cloud in the sky. There's no wind. The best way to fish is to finesse fish. I've got a lake right here. It's real clear. It's real deep. It's got a lot of cover and it's got a lot of trees and grass and things. And these fish just don't feed on days like today. They wait till low light conditions come. You know, the wind, the cloud cover, things like that. So if you want to get bit on days like today, one of the best ways to fish is with a finesse bait. There's a lot of different baits you can choose when you're finesse fishing like this. You know, some people like grubs, tubes, jigs. There's a lot of different shapes of plastics that you can put out there. I just really like the straight-tailed worm, and if I'm trying to find big fish, it's a great bait for me. There it is. You see all sizes of them chasing out there. I'm using a bait caster because I want to have a lot of power to set the hook. I'm using a long rod with a light action tip and 14-pound test fluorocarbon. The great thing about fluorocarbon in clear water is the fish just really can't see it. It doesn't reflect the sunlight, so I can get away with using a little bit bigger size line. There's some big trees around here and I might catch a big fish, so I'm using a lightweight, just an 1/8 ounce sinker, little bitty hook, 14-pound fluorocarbon, and cast into these deep trees. There's a better fish. Long casts are critical when you're fishing like this, so I want to be able to cast a long ways out there. And I'm using a real natural color. You know, the best thing I can tell you about picking colors in a clear water lake like this is that if you choose a color that matches the bottom or the surroundings that you're fishing around, you're going to be picking a real good color, because the natural bait fish, crawfish, things like that, in clear water, they're just like a chameleon. They're going to blend in with their surroundings. So use a color that matches the surroundings you're fishing. There's fish. One thing that I always try to do when I'm fishing real clear water like this is I want to use a natural bait, but I also want a plastic that's going to have the best type of action for these ultra clear conditions. I'm going to rig it Texas rig and just put a bullet weight in front of it. I'm fishing like 15 to 20 foot of water right now, so I got a 3/16 ounce sinker on there. It'll kind of fall nose first, and you don't want to add a lot of action to it. When it's like this, you want real subtle presentation. Just barely shake it along the bottom, twitch it along. One of the things that's really critical to me is that these worms are rigged perfectly straight. That's what gives them that real erratic fall. You don't think that a straight-tail worm has a lot of action until you see it rigged properly fall to the bottom. It just never goes the same place twice, and that's the real attraction to the bass. But if I'm looking for the fish, I got conditions like this and I need to fish a little bit faster. A lot of times I'll put a pretty heavy sinker on there, say a 3/8 ounce or 5/16, to get a real fast fall. And what you're going to do is you're going to trigger those reaction strikes that way. And it allows me to cover more water. Probably the biggest thing that a lot of people don't do when they're fishing in real clear water like this, you've got to let it sink to the bottom all the way with slack in the line. That's what gives it that natural fall. Look at that fat one there. A lot of times you'll make that cast and it'll sink, and it'll only sink 15 feet and it'll stop. Boy, you know then that's going to be a fish taking it, or it might have landed in a tree. But I'm going to watch it for any little subtle twitches or anything. But if I have to, I'm going to feed it line to make sure it sinks slack all the way down there. That's what gives that worm its best action.